You said that Puffy called and said, "Was that us?" And you didn't say nothing.
I didn't say nothing. Yeah, you're right.
Yes, he did idolize Tupac. We all knew that. We knew that about some of the speeches he said. He said the same shit that came out of Pac's mouth.
Good business not to be, seen in public with a guy that you've conspired to commit a murder with.
Why y'all didn't get Orlando? Number one, Orlando didn't sit in one spot.
Right. Orlando knew that you guys know that he did it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Former gang member Keith D has come out to accuse music mogul Diddy of paying him $1 million to carry out a hit on rap legends Tupac Shakur and Suge Night. Big D claims he declined the offer, but the implications of such a proposal have stunned the hip-hop community. What could Diddy's motivations be? Is there anything else to the story? The truth is finally beginning to emerge. The suspect in Tupac's murder case, Keith D, has given some intriguing details regarding the brawl that claimed the life of one of the most influential rappers ever. The member of the South Gang acknowledges that he was actively participating in the incident because of the $1 million he would earn, but he did not receive any compensation.
There was supposed to be $1 million that Zip was supposed to bring back, but he ended up keeping the money and buying a nightclub with it. Never got any money.
Never.
For anything.
D also admitted that when his residence was invaded, he told Puffy that he was running low on ammunition because their weapons were being stolen.
I said I was just going to get some bread from Puff to get us some guns because they kept on raiding our houses, taking our guns.
And there was informants that was listening to this whole conversation.
Yeah, they was there.
Not only that, but Dwayne Keith went on to explain the altercation that took place on the fateful night of September 13, 1996.
You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat.
According to D, the shooting began when Keith noticed Tupac withdrawing something from his pocket and mistook it for a pistol. According to Keith D, he was a passenger in the white Cadillac on the night of the incident. He refused to name any other suspects, but he did affirm that the shooter was Orlando Anderson, his nephew. Keith revealed this by stating that he was dying of cancer.
Blasting. You say Suge looks over, he sees you, he looks right at you.
Yeah, he looked at me.
To spice things up, Reggie Wright Jr. weighs in on the allegation that Diddy was involved in Tupac's death.
From people around Pac during that time was that Pac was just concerned because Stretch knew some of those other guys and he was kind of relaying information.
Supporters believe Reggie's version of events, but they are also concerned for his safety, feeling like Reggie knows he's living on borrowed time and just putting all the information out there. Some of them suspect Reggie is hiding something. I feel like this guy has a lot more information he's not telling us. Even though Suge was right next to the murdered rapper, he has not come out and said who shot him and Tupac, which could be one of the reasons it took so long to find the actual perpetrator.
I'm pretty sure Suge knows who shot shit. Yeah. So when he comes out of sedation, I'm sure anybody who gets shot will tell you who shot them, right? But if the police say nobody shot him, I believe nobody shot him. And if nobody shot him, that's the same nobody that shot Tupac.
Then when Suge was accused of knowing about Tupac's murder, he responded as follows.
Killed Tupac, I'm the said, hey, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
I don't get down like that. One thing people gotta realize, it's born and raised out here.
As you can see, even though Suge denied knowing who the perpetrator was, he did not pass up the opportunity to brag about how he governed his section of town. His criminal tendencies are evident in his discourse. You may be wondering why and how these key elements were discovered and why Tupac's murderer has yet to be apprehended. Tupac's death, as you may know, had an impact on the underground community. Marriott, a Vibe magazine reporter, wrote after his horrific experience covering gangland Compton from the streets, there are no easy answers to the myriad questions surrounding Tupac's death. But it has become clear that the rap star's death and the 3 homicides that followed are only the most visible tragedies in a web of intrigue that extends deep into the LA underworld. Pac's death also had a significant influence on the political world, and as you might expect, politics played a role in the case's present mystery. Las Vegas cops told LAPD Detective Russell Poole that the main reason they would never solve this case is that the politicians didn't want them to. They claimed the powers that be informed them that the city did not require an OJ-style circus. You may wonder how these facts came to light, if not during the death investigation. Willetta Wallace, Biggie's mother, deserves credit for these discoveries. She sued the LAPD for $500 million for an inadequate investigation into Biggie's murder. The pressure of $500 million, as you may understand, kept the LAPD on their toes, and then the most serious inquiry began. Faith Evans, the wife of Big Notorious, was discovered to be an accomplice at the time. Faith Evans, Biggie Smalls' then-wife, allegedly knew about Diddy's conspiracy to assassinate Tupac. Keith D claims that when the West Coast rapper was slain, he phoned Diddy and Evans to inform them that they were responsible for the death. Detective Greg Carding offered his perspective on the murder case. According to him, Keith was already under investigation at the time of the murder, so Diddy missed out on giving D the money because he wanted to avoid FBI suspicious of him.
Aware that the FBI's been watching him out here in Los Angeles, and the last thing he wants to do is be directly associated with this guy that he's had this agreement with.
The detective was in charge of the investigation for 3 days before concluding that Diddy did this because he was terrified of Suge Night.
According to Keefe D, he says, Tupac's put himself on the list by all the shit talking that he was doing. But it was really about Suge, because it was Suge's muscle that Puffy was afraid of.
The detective agreed that solicitation was involved, but it was a matter of life and death for the rappers.
I also understand the nuances of Puffy's fear, and is he just speaking out his ass? Is it exaggerated speech? Whatever. But the conflict was real. It was a life or death game.
The reports on the streets only fueled the already raging antagonism between the gang members. The following is Napoleon Outlaw's perspective as an insider on the death row chain bounty.
Puffy and Bad Boy was doing a video, and they was paying anyone to bring back a death row chain.
The detective also addressed the circulating idea concerning death row chains.
This understanding that there was a bounty, we've never been able to track that down to a source where said I was there when an agreement was made.
Gene Deal also commented on Diddy's apparent outpouring of grief at Tupac's death while secretly cheering on the inside.
If you ain't like that nigga in his life, how you gonna love him in his death? Oh, you glad to see the nigga dead now.
Fans flocked to the internet to claim that the attempted murder was exclusively motivated by Keef's hatred for Tupac. Wait, Keefe D mentioned that when Puff said they were going to put a hit on Pac and Suge, they never took him seriously or even tried to kill these guys. It was when Pac stomped Babylon, they were looking to retaliate, since they had a clear motive and asked Puff to get the money that they never get. I think it's going to be super hard to get Puffy involved. Reggie, like this fan, thinks along similar lines.
And so when that incident happened, he was like, it's a 2-for-1. Yeah, we can get paid, and he just beat up my nephew.
Nonetheless, these sorts of reprisal are common in gang culture. Suge Night, as you would have surmised from all the media hoopla, hired a hitman named Pachi to assassinate Biggie. Brooklyn hip-hop legend Mob James corroborated this, saying he knew who shot Biggie. During an interview with Vlad TV, James verifies claims that Wardell Poochie Faust, a Blood Gang member and Suge collaborator, was the one who pulled the bullet on Biggie that fateful night in Los Angeles. Based on everything that was going on at the time, many concluded that the world lost two outstanding musicians as a result of Diddy and Suge's feud. A fan summed up these conclusions perfectly. Puffy just ruined by laying his vocals on Biggie's songs. In some cases, it's mad and frustrating and shows Puffy was all about getting the limelight using Biggie's influence. Suge Night was an arrogant, authoritative, and menacing dude, not that he was great either. Both Tupac and Biggie got killed because of two sad individuals, Suge and Puffy, plain and simple. They may or may not have pulled the trigger, but they sure were trying. Yet with all of the evidence and internet statements, Tupac's murder case remains unsolved to this day since the case was officially dismissed. According to Carding, the probe was dropped despite the extensive investigation because the LAPD was able to beat Biggie's mother, Valletta Wallace's $500 million case. Furthermore, Carding was dismissed from the task force as a result of a separate internal affairs inquiry. Although he was cleared of any charges, some people still see the former investigator as a rogue cop, even whether the inquiry was completed or is still ongoing. Both Orlando Baby Lane Anderson and Wardell Poochie Faust died of apparent unrelated causes. Even if the documentary's assertions were factual, the guys who were supposedly directly responsible for Tupac and Biggie's deaths are no longer alive to face justice. Fans accept this harsh reality as it is, as one of them stated, even though justice won't be reached from a legal perspective, I think it's amazing that Carding and Poole before him went to such lengths to find answers. There's been a lot of nonsense from the hip-hop community and the black community at large for years about how these two murders have gone unsolved, as though it's somehow a reflection of our uncaring or racist justice system. This man's work disproves that claim and ultimately puts the ball back in the critics' court. And that's it from us today. Until next time, bye.